What do you make of the Boise quarterback situation, and did Rippon play enough for you to really get a good feel for what kind of QB he is?
You know, the two that played, actually, when you look at their depth chart, there's several that are listed on there. But, you know, they have experience in terms of, you know, their background and what they've done coming out of high school. Obviously, they're, you know, being a young players, young quarterback type guys, they run their systems pretty well. And you look at their team, they're surrounded by the running backs, wide receivers. You know, they play multiple tight ends, so they're surrounded by a system that appears to work for them. Now, there may be two types of quarterbacks. You know, one that might be more of a thrower, and the other more of a running threat guy. But so, you know, we'll have to prepare to make sure that you know, that we take care of our assignments first and foremost, because I'm quite sure that we'll see some of the things that we've been seeing here the last couple of weeks that have caused us issues. But you know, they run an offense, a style of offense that if you're not, you know, you don't have leverage set, if you don't have guys aligned in the right gaps, and they can take advantage.
You talked about Matt a little bit, how much he's been improving. Are you pretty pleased with his progress to this point? I think statistically, he's off to the best start of any quarterback that I think that you've had.
You know, it's important as we talk about, you know, a guy that is looked up to this team that, you know, can run a huddle, that is a leader, and, you know, knows that his play is directly correlated to our opportunities to be efficient and score on offense. And he's embraced that. And he has a bunch of guys like the Kanan Severns and the Ross Burbanks, and now T.J. Thorpe, Keon Johnson, who I thought had a good game as well, and Smoke Mizell has really done a nice job. And you know, he's taken his coaching and the opportunities to catch and run and all those things. But Matt is the focal point of a lot of that, and players feed off of his energy. So, you know, he's still improving, and we have a tremendous test Friday night against a very fast and athletic football team coming in here. But we expect Matt to produce for us.
Mike over here. To you, right. You mentioned aspects of the things that were giving you problems on defense. Boise State runs the ball very well, and looks like y'all have been having issues stopping the ball. What do you need to do better, and specifically against them, to stop them?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, we need to tackle much better. You know, arm tackling, side tackling. We need to face people up, tackle them, get them to the ground, knock them back, not throw them forward. Those are some of the things. And then just do what you're coached to do. If you're supposed to stay outside in your gap and set the edge, then that's what's required to do. And, you know, don't feel like you try to have to make a play and you slip inside, and what happens is they take advantage of that. So, you know, it's us executing our defense and doing the things that they're coached to do. And if we do those type of things, and you give yourself a chance to fill the funnels to make plays, to set the edge, to make the ball turn back to the inside. And so, you know, a large part of today's practice and as we move forward will be on those things. You know, if we have to simple the defense down, we'll simple it down, whatever it is, in order to execute, you know, to give us an opportunity to play better.
Coach, in the first 3 weeks, your team's defense has already been kind of tested in the final minutes of games. How good was it to see your defense come away with a stop in the final minutes of that game after, you know, what happened the week before that, and how can you kind of carry that into this game?
You know, we talked about, you know, finishing. That was one of the things, and irregardless of the opponent, you know, we didn't finish the Notre Dame game. You know, that game is past 12 seconds. It's over. We talked about finishing this game and to make the stops at the appropriate time. That's finishing a game. And, you know, we congratulate ourselves for winning the game. Now we got to get better and move on to another excellent football team that's going to be coming into Scott Stadium. So from that regards, finishing, winning a football game, very important, very, very important. But now wanting more, be hungry for more, demanding more, eliminate, as we talked about, some of those issues. You know, third quarter, like I said, I thought we did much better. That had been an issue the previous two games. We got to continue to keep minimizing those things that cause us issues. And then, as I said, mentally and physically get prepared for a talented Boise State team.
Coach, you kind of hit on it right there, but how you've got one more warm-up before ACC play. How battle-tested will this team be heading into that?
Well, competition is always good, and the competition, the level of competition, has been something for us that has required us to make sure that we continue to raise our level of play. You have to play up. You can't play down to a level. The understanding, the speed of the game is much faster than what sometimes you might practice or you might get from your show team or your scout team. And so what it shows you is there's always a necessity and a need to practice and perform at full speed, practice well, perform well. And having had 3 games now under our belt, getting ready to go into the fourth game, non-conference game, it's an understanding and experience that we've had as a football team, and now we need to carry it over into winning a game against a really good football team, particularly here at home.
Mike, you've obviously changed your punt return personnel for the better. You saw the result. You talked about Maurice turn that touchdown. Any thought to changing kick return personnel? Numbers are still pretty low there.
Yeah, again, that's something else we'll look at. And obviously right now I believe we're averaging 17, 18 yards. And, there's nothing wrong with the ball's 1 yard, 2 yards deep into the end zone taking a knee. Your ball's going to come out to the 25. But there's a lot of components to it as well. Your front line, are they blocking? Or guys running past them, and then you have your returners, having guys in their face. So that's something that we need to look at as far as who, and then how we coach our guy when the ball's kicked. The ball's kicked in play, 1 yard line, then you got to return it. But we'll make sure our guys make better decisions, because it is one of those things that once it gets into the end zone, that's 25 yards that you're gonna get. So we'll continue to keep looking at that, and perhaps even some of the personnel will change. Now with TJ back and Olamide, being a guy that's got some breakaway speed. Daniel Ham being a guy that has to cast off his hand now. So we'll look at other opportunities.
Coach, just from what you've seen initially on tape, how good is this Boise State offense, this iteration of it? And given the fact that they've had that injury to starting quarterback, just what do you guys need to be prepared for when you face a team of this caliber?
Like I said, offensively, there's so many multiple personnel groupings. They have several tight ends on their team. The quarterback's listed as the receiving group. The offensive line is a strength in what they have, and they do so many different things. I mean, it's an offense that they've been running and they've been successful at. Defensively, they'll get after you. Their safeties are very much involved in their run game, and they're dedicated to stopping the run. So we're going to have to make sure that we do an excellent job, blocking their safeties or their support players. So well-coached team. The only common denominator for us right now is they played a BYU team that we've played the last couple years, and we've seen those games. Tough team, physical team, but again, this week of preparation for us is critical about, again, what we do, and looking forward to a Friday night challenge.
Kind of a two-part question. Number one, what should we label your offense now? Because it doesn't look like that power run game anymore. It's kind of evolved over those next couple of weeks. And with that being said, Boise's number 2 against the run in the country. What's tough against their front to run against?
Well, label the offense as trying to make the best of the opportunities with the playmakers that we have, and we've identified as we've gone on some guys that perhaps can get the ball in space and do some things. With them, as I just said, defensively, their safeties are heavily involved in the run game. They play a lot of safety down, safeties involved, and it's going to be important for us to not only to get to the second level, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge our wide receivers to catch passes against their secondary, but also to block their safeties and the force that they provide in their running game. So they do an excellent job of run fits and playing well. And when you have safeties that are involved like that, it makes you a good defense.
Mike, what have you seen in Boise's running game? Talking to the Boise coach yesterday, it sounded like they have 3 or 4 running backs that they can count on. Just what have you noticed?
Yeah, there's quite a few running backs that they do have, and again, it's a system that with a lot of misdirection. Like I said, they play multiple tight ends, and they also run the jet sweep with number 1, who's a very dynamic player for them. So, as soon as you kind of stack up for the inside run, then they attack the perimeter. But their running game is one that complements the style, the style and the athletes that they have back in the backfield for them, playing with a really good offensive line. So, as I said, it'll be important for us, again, to simplify our game plan defensively. We talk about setting the edge, tackling better, and just knowing that we'll probably see several things from them, and particularly things that have worked from other teams.
Coach, every game's big, and this is a non-conference game. Is there a heightened sense of urgency going into a bye because of the caliber of opponent, all that different kind of stuff? Is there, you want to be urgent all the time, but is there a heightened sense with this game because you're going into a break before the conference?
Well, when we first started getting ready for this season, there was a heightened sense because of who we playing out west, then coming back, playing Notre Dame, knowing that we played William & Mary, and now the short week playing Boise State Friday night, and so the best thing for us is to take care of this Friday, and then react and respond and make corrections as we go into the break, as you mentioned, before we go into conference play. So, we'll put everything we can into this game, for opportunity to be successful here while it's Friday night and while we're at home. And today was a really good practice, really upbeat, energetic. When you have guys that are, that are leaders and understand the sense of urgency that we have to play up to a level of our expectation, can't play down. There's a lot of guys that are excited about this Friday night, another national TV, another opportunity again to show what type of team we are and we're capable of being.